We are really the community's support for those of you with infertility. We get it. We've all been touched in different ways by infertility. And we are here as a community to let you know while you are alone, you're not alone. We care about you, and we're doing what we can to be helpful. A little bit about the foundation. We rely completely on the generosity of donors who care about those of you with infertility and want to do something to be helpful. A lot of our donors, and many of you today have donated, and we thank you for that, but a lot of our donations come from people who have gone through infertility and have come out on the other side and are grateful either for the families they now have or totally aware of people who are going through the same things and want to be supportive. We also get a lot of support from people in the medical industry, different companies, pharmaceutical companies, doctors, people who are treating infertility and know firsthand what a struggle it is and how people need the funds as well to get access to medical care. And just in general, we get a lot of support from people who just hear about infertility and want to be helpful and want to be supportive. So on the one hand, we know for each of you going through infertility, it's a very private journey, but there is a community out here who cares and wants to be helpful. We have, at the Fertility Foundation, we have two boards. We have our advisory board, which is comprised of people with expertise that help support us in the daily work that we do. And we have an amazing advisory board. Some of our board members are actually speakers today, and you'll hear from them. We also have a general board, which are those of us who are volunteers who just sort of roll up our sleeves and do the operations of the Fertility Foundation. And it's an amazing group of individuals who are just very committed to this mission. And for me personally, I'm a co-founder of the Fertility Foundation. I did not have infertility, but my husband is a physician who treats patients with infertility. And so for my whole adult life, I have been aware of infertility and how it complicates people's lives, to say the least. In a lot of ways, while I didn't have infertility, I had the awareness that being able to have children is a luxury, and it's something I'm forever grateful for, and I've never taken it for granted. So being involved with the foundation is my way to express gratitude for that awareness. I've seen from the sidelines, because my husband is a physician, I've seen how dedicated the professionals are and how hard they work to try to help people with infertility. But I've also seen the patient side, mostly from people who share with me what they're going through and just how difficult it is and how much it would benefit to have support from the community at large. So that's why I'm involved with the Fertility Foundation of Texas. And our one thing that was important to me from the beginning is to bridge the infertility world with those who don't have infertility and bring the two together. So our board is really comprised of a range of people. Everybody is touched by infertility in some way, but not everybody has had infertility. And so I'd like to introduce to you some of our other board members. A few are not able to join us today. Some are coming on later. But right now, I think I can introduce you to Michele Rosas. If you'll please tell everybody a little bit about you and why you are a volunteer for the Fertility Foundation of Texas.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michele, as Carol said, and I personally had an infertility journey that brought this cause to front of mind for me and makes me want to give back and help people to experience having a family, because it's been something that changed my life, and I feel like everyone should have the opportunity to experience it. Thank you for being here today, everyone.
Thanks, Michele. And Michelle's going to come on later, and she's moderating the topic about financial planning for infertility. And also we have with us Hillary Lande, Hillary, would you introduce yourself and tell everybody why you're involved?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Hillary Lande. It's a pleasure to be here, and I am just so happy that we were able to pull together this summit and touch everyone. So I did not personally have infertility. I echo a lot of Carol's similar comments that I do feel very blessed. I had a little bit of a journey that didn't involve infertility, but I do have 3 kids now and feel blessed, but also feel very sensitive with friends and namely some family members who have gone through this journey. And it just really made me want to help and give back. And I feel really humbled and honored to be a part of the board.
Thanks, Hillary. And towards the end of the program, we have a lot of the people who have received grants. They sent in videos to express how the foundation has touched their lives. And Hillary helped us get all that together and present it to you. She's interfaced a lot with our grant recipients, and we really appreciate everybody's support. Thank you, Hillary. We also have Heather, who you've met with the introduction. She is actually our board president. And Heather, you want to talk a little bit about why you're involved with the foundation?
Yeah, kind of like Michele, it was a very personal journey. My husband and I were going through IVF treatments, and we were on our 3rd cycle, and I just kind of had a conversation actually with one of our presenters today, and one of the nurses at the practice just said, I really want to give back and do something for people that are going through this. And, I think I want to start a nonprofit or something to that effect. And both people said, well, you need to talk to Carol because she's already done all the heavy lifting. So you need to get with her on it. And so we connected a little while later and joined the board. And she's kind of gone along with my crazy harebrained ideas for the last, I don't know, probably 5 years now, maybe even 6. So yeah, that's how and why I got here.
That's great. And Heather is the power behind the summit today, and so we're grateful, Heather, for everything you've done. I think we also have Danny Whitston. Is she with us too?
She is on the other meeting. She's not in the
Okay.
this room.
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll go on.
I just wanted to say to y'all, we appreciate you guys being here. This is, as everybody knows, COVID sort of changed the way we do things. So this, in full disclosure, is our first virtual summit, virtual event. So we've done a lot of behind the scenes work to ensure that it goes as smoothly as possible, but we just appreciate your patience as we, navigate through the virtual live environment and just kind of work out some of the kinks in real time. So just also want to share that with you because we're just regular people trying to do what we can to help others. And so we're not necessarily perfect, but we certainly are trying to make a good contribution to the community. And Carol, I love that she always says, our mission is not outcomes for people, it's access to care, and it's kind of the at bats, if you will, to use a sports analogy. And so we've been so blessed to be able to help people in the local area, and our goal is to just kind of expand our reach and what we can do to help contribute. And if I may, just kind of a little bit of what we have coming up throughout the day, just so you can get the link that came out this morning and last night. We'll have a link to our dashboard, and you can get the schedule there, and you can also get a workbook if you haven't printed it out. It's a great place to take notes and jot down comments, questions, etc. for any of our speakers. But we're going to start the day off with Natasha Iqbal because so many of us start with our OB-GYN and don't really know where to go. And so she's going to be talking about, finding the right person, making sure that they're a team in your infertility journey, making sure you know when it's time to go to the next level, to the next step. She's followed by Tara Joyner, who specializes in working with patients and kind of through the emotional, mental side of it, because what we don't always prepare for is the journey that comes along that's not just going to doctor's visits. You're just not necessarily prepared as an individual, as a couple, and there's so much, so many questions, so many things that come up. So Tara's going to really talk about, how to answer tough questions, treatment plans, things, set up your own treatment plans, etc. Then we have Sadie Minkoff. So many of us and so many other people ask about acupuncture during the process, have had acupuncture, wonder about if it's a good fit. So she's going to kind of talk about acupuncture, and a lot of times people say, oh, that's kind of like woo, that's weird, or I'm not sure, that's kind of that silly stuff. And there's ways that it can support you from reducing stress and I'll let her go through all the other technical stuff because I don't know enough about the science behind it, but she's great with that. And I will say, and she'll talk about this, I'm sure, that there's a big difference when you get somebody who has, a master's in acupuncture versus somebody who's gone to, a weekend acupuncture certification class. So she's going to be a great resource for that. Then we follow Sadie with Carol Silverberg, and he's talking about a topic that I'm actually really interested in hearing his insights on, and just how COVID has impacted the whole fertility world, if you will, from, whether people were on lockdown and couldn't get treatments. I know Kaylin was involved in making sure people still had access to care, the vaccines, all this, there's so much misinformation going on about it. And what I love about Kaylin is that he's so research and science based that you're going to love what he has to say, simply because, not only is he a physician in the, a reproductive endocrinologist, but he also, because of this field, is, constantly on top of the latest research. So he's got some important and really good information to share with us on that. Then we have Tex Vermilia. I always mess up his last name, so I apologize. And he runs the Ovation Fertility Lab here in Austin. And it's kind of, how a bill becomes a law, the little book that you read in elementary school. Well, he's going to take us on the journey on how an embryo becomes a baby and what goes on in the lab. And it's really some fascinating stuff. The technology is always changing. So he's going to be talking about that. Then we have Lahana Vigliano, who's a nutritionist, because so much of our health comes from nutrition and just, the way that we're taking care of ourselves. So she's going to talk a lot about that. And that's just before lunch. So again, a jam-packed day of information. And I keep seeing people coming in. So glad everybody's hopping on board. And again, we're going to get started here in just a few minutes. And just to kind of go off of what Carol said, I did want to share a video from one of the a recipient that just also talks a little bit more about the foundation and what it does for people. So let me play that.
Hi, I hope everyone is enjoying the virtual summit. I wanted to drop a note to share a little bit about the Fertility Foundation of Texas. My husband and I are so lucky to be one of the grant recipients of this foundation. And when we think back on our fertility journey towards building our family, which we now have a wonderful, amazing 1-year-old baby girl. I say baby, she's actually growing up more than a baby. But anyways, we honestly can't think of that journey without the Fertility Foundation of Texas. Since we were awarded a grant, that honestly allowed us to continue on in our pursuit of those fertility options, which, they are a financial commitment for sure. We knew we wanted to continue, but we were in a spot where we were looking for some help, and we were just so blessed to stumble upon this foundation and ultimately be awarded that grant. And more than just that, of course the financial assistance was amazing, but we also just felt so welcomed and supported by them through our conversation of looking to get that grant. And even still now, we stay in touch and email back and forth and send pictures. And I just really know and believe that they are a wonderful foundation doing amazing things. So if you are a donor or a grant recipient, hopeful grant recipient, friend, family member, Fertility Foundation is awesome, and we are just beyond thankful for their contribution towards building our family.
Figuring out all the technology. Thank you. And we'll bring all of our folks back up here. And so, just wanted to sort of share that with everybody so that you could see that our mission is really to provide, obviously, the grants, but hope and options for people. So again, we're super excited you guys are here. Carol, I don't know if you have anything else that you want to sort of add or mention before I go into the afternoon lineup and a few more housekeeping details while we finish welcoming folks on and get ready for Dr. Iqbal.
I saw a couple of things. One, I know Suzanne Schlesinger, who's a board member, is trying to participate, but her computer's not cooperating. So apologize for that. But I can tell you a little bit about Suzanne. She's actually a longtime friend of mine, and her twins are now 21, and she went through infertility a long time ago, and she's involved in the board and just has that perspective from years ago to what's happening now. And she has been actively involved and does so much to help us. And so much appreciate her. And Lily Sott is another board member who unfortunately had to be out of town this morning and couldn't join us. And also we have Phil Lowy, who's going to be participating this afternoon. And she and her husband, Adam, got involved with the foundation because on their own they had experienced infertility and they wanted to create a grant or a foundation specifically to help people in their faith community, in the Jewish community. So they have the Tree of Life grant, which is similar to the grant that we give at the Fertility Foundation, but it's targeted specifically to people who are Jewish who are struggling with infertility. And so we're very grateful for them, and we partner with them and help facilitate their grant. I just wanted to say, just in case people are curious about how we determine who we give grants to, we have tried to make our process as streamlined and simple as possible. We do require a lot of paperwork, but we're very objective in how we evaluate our applicants. And so we don't make a medical determination. We do require that you be under the care of a board certified reproductive endocrinologist and you're getting your treatment at a certified lab. And beyond that, we just check that off that the medical part is covered. And then we look more at the financial picture. And our grants are available to people whose combined household income is below $100,000. And we look at all the paperwork to confirm and get a good financial picture. And then we do have an interview process for those people who qualify. We also are limited in our geographic region. And so you have to live within Central Texas as we define it on our website. You have to have combined household income below 100,000 and be under the care of a physician. And beyond that, we interview anybody who qualifies. And the board, every round, it's sort of interesting how the group of applicants sort of shift out and present different issues to us. And so we do our best to get money to as many people as we can. But we are always limited in who we can help just because of the funds that we have. But our process is objective. We do not charge an application fee, and we also do not charge for the background check, which we do if you're picked to get a grant. At that point, we do a background check, but the foundation absorbs those costs. So just wanted to add that out there too. Thanks, Heather.
And one last thing I want to say, we'll do a little interview, not interview, but a video from Phil about the grant, about the Tree of Life. But we, again, why we're not in this massive production is that, we really try to be diligent with our donors' gifts because, we are here to serve you and not to, have hundreds of thousands of dollars of overhead. So we literally try to do as much as we can, with our board members and advisory board members, so that as much of, almost all of the money that comes in goes directly to grant recipients. So, which is important to all of us. So let me share with you a message from Phil, who you will meet later. She will be moderating a session on faith and infertility.
Hi, I'm Phil Lowy, and I'm a proud board member of the Fertility Foundation of Texas. My husband Adam and I struggled with infertility a few years ago. While this was very frustrating, we were very fortunate to have the financial resources necessary, access to excellent medical care, and the unparalleled support of friends and family. This journey inspired us to create the Tree of Life grant in partnership with the Fertility Foundation of Texas. This grant is specifically for Jewish couples in Central Texas who need to undergo IVF. We would like to take a moment to encourage other religious groups to create a similar grant for their own communities. After all, what could be more rewarding than helping wonderful people achieve their dreams of becoming parents? For those of you who are struggling with infertility, please know you are fabulous and you are not alone. We sincerely hope that you gain some information from today's program and find it very meaningful. Thank you.